I recently spent a week in Greece, and it was incredible. The country was beautiful, I was surrounded by friends, and the food was absolutely to die for. But you want to know what the best part of my trip was? The sheer amount of horrible, awful bootleg products I found. Yeah, I know. I'm sad about me being back here too. Every single shop I visited was filled with dozens of cheap knockoffs, and a lot of them were gaming related. This fascinated me and sent me down a rabbit hole of discovery and intrigue. I needed to find the funniest gaming bootlegs I could. Hey, what's up? It's your boy Rock. This was what I found during my journey through the world of bootleg gaming. I think it makes the most sense to start this discussion with the very thing that inspired it, the many weird and wonderful gaming bootlegs I found in Greece. Now, I don't know much about the process of how these things get made. My best assumption is that Greece's economy is fucked. Tourism is pretty much the only thing keeping the country going as far as I'm aware, so they obviously want to get travellers spending money at their shops by enticing them with some familiar brands and characters. The problem with that is, they definitely can't afford to officially license the brands they're trying to profit from, so they have to take some creative liberties to ensure they don't get sued. And that's how we end up with this. Power Mario was the first bootleg I stumbled across, and these things are glorious. Clearly made to piggyback off of the LEGO Mario hype, Power Mario is a set of LEGO-ish minifigures based on a number of characters from the Mario cast. Mario, Luigi, Mario, Wario, Mario, Waluigi, every character you could possibly want and that also conveniently uses the exact same shell and general design. Funny how that works out. Now, these things are... but they're also kind of fantastic. Like, okay, they're undeniably awful to look at, but they're also weirdly cool. I found a couple of figures from this line, and they each came with a Goomba minifigure and a fucking scooter. Not a cart, not a motorbike, a scooter. Like a child's push-along scooter.
The fuel prices lately are pissing me off.
What the fuck? I also love the name change here. Changing Super to Power clearly was not enough to get the law off their backs. But you know what is? Perfection. You still pronounce this as Mario though, it's only distinct visually, which is why I think Power Mario needs to take a page from Super Marlowe's book. I genuinely do not have the words for this. This was a figure I saw in one shop, it was completely separate from the rest of the toys on sale there, and try as I might, I cannot find any other soul on the planet who has also encountered this thing. The box claims it's part of a minifigure collection, and honestly I wish I'd have gotten a picture of the bag of the box to see what other figures were on offer. But as it stands, this is the only evidence I have that this thing actually exists, and that's just fascinating to me. It's funny too, because I can trace the exact inspiration sources for this figure. It's obviously some horrific genetic fusion between Mario and Luigi, that's pretty clear just by looking at it, but the actual mold of the figure is based on this Mario figure I have. Who spawned you? I wish I knew more about this figure, but no amount of searching on Google or Reddit or YouTube has provided me with any results. If you know anything about this cursed wretch, please, I beg you, share what you know with the world. I need closure on this. Now, one of the hallmarks of touristy products is the humble keychain. Something small and cheap that can serve as a nice little reminder of the places you've traveled to. How old was the lemon you sucked? And at what point did you decide one slice of it wasn't enough? This thing might be the best piece of bootleg gaming merch I've ever seen. Look at his fucking face. face! This exact Mario design was all over the place in Greece, just with different colour palettes and whatnot. And there was even a standing version that was made to look like a bunch of different Mario Odyssey costumes. There was actually a surprising amount of modern Mario stuff referenced in these wrinkly abominations. Some of Mario's captchas from Odyssey, Topper, Giga Cat Mario. I didn't manage to get photos of any of these, but I've managed to find a few images on Google so you know that I'm not lying. For all you know, I could be making up the Giga Cat Mario one though. Google sure as hell doesn't believe me. The one time I try to live in the moment and not be attached to my phone, Sorry, what were we talking about? Everything we've talked about so far has been wonderful, but come on, we know where my priorities lie. What did Greece have when it came to plush it? Ooh, you okay there, buddy? No? Didn't think so. These Yoshi plushes are some of the only bootlegs I've ever seen of specifically the Mario All-Star plush line, and honestly, for the most part, they nailed it. One tiny issue though. Yoshi looks like he was playing Marco Polo when it was his turn to be blindfolded, but instead of looking for his friends in a pool, he was looking for the fastest way to run full speed into a concrete wall! He succeeded. All of the plushes I saw in Greece were just so off. This Mario and Luigi combo in particular are just close enough to the real thing to feel weirdly uncanny. And they were more common than cats, which is saying a lot because the part of Greece I visited was teeming with puss. I also managed to find these two special boys. Pepper, what did they do to you? Whoa! Now obviously, as funny as these bootlegs are, I didn't buy any of them. I'll say it's because I morally disagree with them, but it's actually because I had better things to spend my money on. Like crepes. You know, the famously Greek food. But that's not to say I've never bought into bootlegs before. After all, I was an idiot kid once. So, let's delve into the bootlegs that I have owned at one point or another, starting with... Now I'll show you! Nendoroid bootlegs are fairly common from what I understand. Or maybe I just got unlucky, who knows. But they can be pretty damn convincing. This Sonic one is the only one I still currently own. But I did also have a knockoff Toon Link figure. For the most part, they both looked almost identical to the real deal at a glance. But there were a few tells. For example, Sonic's tummy is quite discolored, this item Ovoid has upside down emblems, and oh yeah, all of the parts are flimsy as piss! These things snap so incredibly easily. Fine, I guess, if they're just going to be sat on your shelf, but if these things are for a kid with an overactive imagination, a one-legged Sonic is an inevitability.
Hey, we should do this again sometime!
These things had whole-ass boxes too, which I also don't have anymore. I also had a bootleg Figma, the Skyward Sword Link to be specific. Even as a kid I knew this thing wasn't the real deal. His face was a little bit dopey, sure, but what really gave it away for me was the hands. These were supposed to be interchangeable, but they felt like they were going to snap under even the tiniest bit of pressure I applied. So instead of swapping out his hands, I put this thing in the bin. Okay, some bootlegs can be good, I promise. I don't know if I can promise that, but bootleggers do have a tendency to provide products that official sources aren't. Like, take a look at these Toad figures I have. Toadette and Toadsworth. I did also used to have a yellow Toad and blue Toad, but one thing led to another, and now they're dead. Up until very recently with the Jack-specific Mario toy line, there had never been any official figures for any of these Toads, and actually, Toadsworth still has not gotten an official figure. But don't worry, the bootleggers have him covered. At least, I think they do. All of these figures came from MarioMall.com, my absolute favourite site to browse as a kid. I need to do a whole discussion on this site at some point, but TLDR, they made and sold bootleg Mario toys, they aren't around anymore, and this one video on their old YouTube channel is the only evidence I have that they were actually responsible for these figures. beautiful. Pretty much all of the Mario toys of my early childhood came from this website, and they were all just worse versions of things I could have bought officially. Their plushes were where it was at though. I had this Birdo, this Cheep Cheep, I still have this Christmas Yoshi, this red Yoshi, and hey, Toadsworth! Again! Yet another example of bootleggers giving us what Nintendo won't. That's a pretty big trend in the bootleg gaming scene nowadays. I talked recently about how Sané has really been dropping the ball when it comes to their plushes, most notably with their lack of Mario Wonder plushes. But you know who hasn't been dropping the ball? The bootleggers! Take one look at Etsy or eBay or hell, even just a quick Google search will do the trick. And you'll see that bootleggers are making and selling Mario Wonder plushes aplenty. There's such a variety of plushes on offer here. Enemies, power-ups, NPCs. Damn near no stone has been left unturned here, and as far as I've been made aware of, their quality control has actually been getting a fair bit better over the last year or so, meaning these plushes are more likely to actually be of any level of quality. That's really cool! They're filling a gap in the market, and people are buying their products for that very reason. And this is where I'd argue bootlegs enter fun territory. There's a huge discussion to be had about the morality and legality of making and selling bootlegs of products that are currently readily available and trying to scam people into buying them. But if a bootleg is being made of a product that isn't currently readily available, then I'd argue that's fair game. To illustrate this point just a little bit better, let's take a look at some bootleg games. Stuff like this Mario 64 DS bootleg I have, bad! It ugly, it flimsy, it sold in 2005, 2006-ish when the game was still being sold in every major retailer that carried games. But bootlegs like this Paper Mario 64 box, ooh, very nice. What makes this different is that Paper Mario has not been sold physically by Nintendo since the very early 2000s. I can't just go to fucking Argos and pick up a copy of this thing. No. I have to resort to the second-hand market. But this game is a pretty uncommon one, and one that people really want to play, so that shit's expensive! Even just the box on its own is a pricey purchase, so I would argue that this product is not currently readily available. Therefore, a bootlegged version of it that some guy on eBay made and sold to me for £12, that, my friends, is what I call fair game. This thing's cool, man. It feels a lot flimsier than official N64 boxes, and the sticky stuff that keeps the bottom from getting shat out isn't the best in the world. But this is about as close as you'll get to an official box without spending hundreds of pounds. And not even escaping the 144p dimension is worth that much money. I genuinely really want to get more boxes like this for at the very least the rest of my N64 collection. Official boxes would be preferable, but I'm honestly not too nitpicky about it. Another type of bootleg I'm very much into is stuff like Earthbound on SNES, but specifically for PAL regions. You see, Earthbound never officially released on cartridge here in the UK, and neither did Super Mario RPG. I can't play those games on official SNES hardware. Is what I would be saying if bootleggers hadn't swooped in and saved the goddamn day. Unofficial PAL cartridges for Earthbound and Super Mario RPG. Boom! Some sellers even sell bootleg boxes to go along with them, which is just wonderful. And I will buy them one day. I promise. I've been making the same promise for almost 2 years, but in my defense, these games are on the Switch, okay? I can play them right now if I wanted to. So, I want these bootlegs, but there isn't an urgency there, alright? Get off my back. Bootlegs of this nature are more accurately described as reproductions, making unofficial alternatives to real products that were once being sold. If we want to talk about actual bootlegs in this space, look no further than whatever the fuck this is. Fan games, ROM hacks, mods, they are all able to be bought in the form of a cartridge. A true gaming bootleg. Provided these things aren't trying to pass off as legitimate, then this can be one of the most fun aspects of bootleg gaming. There's no way on God's green earth that any of these games would ever receive an official physical release. It's actually more likely that they'd be struck down by Nintendo. But with a bootleg card? Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Hell, I'd argue this sort of cartridge is how gaming bootlegs really got their start. You ever heard of Somari? Or one of those 1000 games in one carts? Or 7
Granddad!
7 Grandad, and to a lesser extent Somari, are legendary ROM hacks of existing games. Somari is obviously a Sonic ROM hack, but interestingly, it was released for the Famicom, not the Super Famicom, or a Sega system. And the game is apparently surprisingly faithful to the Mega Drive Classic, for whatever that's worth. 7 Grandad, on the other hand, is a ROM hack of the Flintstones, The Rescue of Dink and Hoppy for the Famicom, with the only differences being Freddy Flintstone having a Mario head, and this fucking sprite. The 7 comes from the fact that this game is advertised as being Super Mario Bros. 7 on one of the thousands in one carts I just mentioned, and the Grandad, I have no fucking clue. A lot of bootlegs come from those sorts of cartridges. But what if you don't want to have to put an illegal cartridge into your perfectly legal system? Well, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, Soulja Boy has you covered.
Soulja Boy too. Soulja Boy, I bring it up. Why me crank it? Why me roll? Why me crank that Soulja Boy? That Superman? That why me?
I wish I was joking. In 2018, Soulja Boy, the rapper, decided to enter the video games industry by selling bootleg consoles you'd find on fucking Wish or AliExpress or SoldierWatch.com. These consoles, and others like them, take a bunch of typically NES or Super Nintendo ROMs, dump them onto one cheap heap of plastic with a controller that feels like shit to hold, and sometimes they'll alter the ROMs slightly to get the copyright holders off their backs. It doesn't usually work. This is, and was at the time, fucking hilarious to me. It would have been funny enough if Soulja Boy was making his own bootleg consoles, right? But the fact that he was just selling shitty Chinese ROM shells that you could buy on Amazon, that's just the cherry on top. I don't know. I didn't want to give him any of my money, so I don't have one of these things. Which means I have something in common with the people who did give him money. Other than that whole fiasco though, consoles are never really what spring to my mind when I think about gaming bootlegs. I always think about shit like this Monsters Inc. 3-in-1 cartridge. The type of bootleg you'd find when you're on holiday and need something to keep you entertained. So, do I have any of these legendary bootleg cartridges? Well, I have 4 R's. Ah, yes. The R4 card. The saviour of every British kid's lunchtime on a Wednesday at school. I'm not speaking from experience, I swear. This thing is completely, inescapably, 100% illegal. I'm not going to pretend to be an R4 card scholar, but this was essentially a DS card that was also a microSD reader. You'd load a microSD card with a bunch of DS ROMs, put it into your DS Fat or DS Lite, and you had all of those games ready and available to play. Now, for one reason or another, mine doesn't work anymore. Try as I might, none of my systems will read this thing, so that's a shame. But I do remember everything about it, and how it was genuinely the only reason I played my DS as a kid. See, I don't know if this was common for R4 cards, but most of the major Nintendo games I had available on this thing, such as New Super Mario Bros. And Mario Kart DS, there were cheats that you could activate before loading the game. This was fucking incredible. I could play New Super Mario Bros. As Luigi before I knew you could just press L and R when loading a file to do that. I could always have a blue shell power up. I could always have a star or bullet bill in Mario Kart DS, and it made playing those games kind of boring, actually. But the magic of discovering what cheats were available was next level. I really wish I could get this thing working, just so I could experience this again. Holy shit! We're in, baby! baby! Oh my god, this is nostalgic. Okay, let's quickly look at the games I have here. I have 34 games installed on this thing. That's almost as many games as I own physically for this system. My god. I'm not going to list out every game I have out loud. But of these games, I am going to list which ones I have cheats for in alphabetical order. Play along, see if you can guess which ones have them. Ready? Arthur and the Invisibles. You lose! Cooking Mama, naturally. Madagascar, Mario Kart DS, New Super Mario Bros., Scooby-Doo, Who's Watching Who, and Tetris DS. Okay. Some of the cheats on offer here are genuinely fascinating to me. They all have your standard 100% the game codes, but Mario Kart has stuff like Player's Shy Guy, something you could only do in download play if you were the player without a game card. The most interesting ones Mario Kart has, in my opinion though, are the level codes, which allow you to turn certain circuit tracks into some of the game's test tracks. That is really cool. You can also choose to turn Luigi's Mansion into TikTok Clock. I have no idea why you do that, but if that is what you desire, the option is there. I love the new Super Mario Bros. Ones, specifically the Big Jump code, the Freeze Timer code, and the Size Modifier codes like Big Mario, Giant Mario, Tiny Mario, and Paper Mario! What? Deselect everything other than that. Let's see what this could possibly mean. You sick fucks. The R4 card is undoubtedly the best bootleg gaming item I have ever encountered. But if you remember, my mission was not to find the best, it was to find the funniest. So, did I succeed in that mission? Well, I'd say I did. It's the Greek Mario keychain. And just to prove to you how strongly I believe in that point, I'm going to become him. That lemon was lovely. Slap that shit on Etsy. You'll make millions, I promise.